And we are the Berkless family. We are repeat Fulton customers, and we've lived in the Fulton community for 6 years. We had been looking for a home, and so we walked into the Fulton community, and we were just absolutely blown away. When we walked into the model home, we noticed the high ceilings, the beautiful kitchen, the flooring, and the floor plan. We knew it was a place where we were going to raise our family.
And on top of that, we have a swimming pool and a good location here.
When you say the word community, you have to be able to see it and feel it. And so when you have your neighbors, you feel that community because you become friends, and it even feels like family, like a family community. And that is something that is priceless and can last a lifetime. We absolutely would recommend a Fulton home to our friends and family.
Fulton Homes. You're proud to own, we're proud to build.
When is Kate getting here?
Should be any minute. She was on one of her Goodwill treasure hunts.
Treasure hunt? Oh, here she comes. And in an amazing new jacket.
Ready to rock, guys?
You definitely are.
Where'd you get that?
Don't you love it? I got it at Goodwill.
Kate got it at Goodwill. With hundreds of thousands of unique items arriving in-store daily, you can get it at Goodwill too. Find your convenient neighborhood location at goodwillaz.org. Nonprofit for good.
Every day, reliable, comfortable, connected. Every day you rely on power. At APS, we work around the clock to deliver some of the most reliable power in the country. But with Arizona's extreme weather, outages can happen. Stay safe and informed with alerts. Keep your contact information up to date. And visit our outage center for updates on
This fall, choose Primavera Online, and you'll be choosing a school with flexibility, personalized support, and an award-winning curriculum that's over 20 years strong. Now enrolling grades K to 12 at chooseprimavera.com.
This is Desert Diamond West Valley, where there's next level action and jackpot winning smiles all around. So get your shine on, light up the room, show us what it's all about. Join us at Rocktoberfest on Friday, October 31st, 6 p.m. to midnight, for food, fun, games, and more. Get tickets at ddcaz.com. It's time to live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino West Valley.
An enterprise of Adana Automation. AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
Well, that was certainly a first impression last night. Welcome in, Thursday edition of the lunch break, right here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you for the next 2 hours. Producer Evan is behind the glass, ready to take your phone calls. 480-864-1060, recapping the Suns starting their season off 1-0. More bye-week talk for the Arizona Cardinals. ASU dealing with a number of injuries heading into their matchup over the weekend against Houston. We have it all for you here today on the program. Let's waste little time. It was the first game of the season, and while it didn't start the way we wanted it to, certainly ended very well.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
A tale of two halves last night for the Phoenix Suns. In their win, big 20-plus point comeback to take down the Sacramento Kings to get to 1-0 this season. Remember their win total in Vegas before the year, 30.5. One down, 30 more to go for them to beat that total. We on this program, big believers in them flying past that number. And how do you not feel that way after what you saw last night? I'll tell you, watching the first half of that game, producer Evan, thought the Suns were going back on the tablet, thought they were going to get relegated to the cell phone, didn't think that they were going to stay up on the big screen, but it was a major adjustment in that second half. It was players like Dylan Brooks and Ryan Dunn and Devin Booker late in the fourth quarter. Grayson Allen had a great third quarter, stepping up for this team, and it led to a win, 120-116 over the Sacramento Kings. as the Suns erase a 20-point deficit at home to win their home opener. Jordan Knott gets his first win as an NBA head coach, and this era starts about as well as it could have. And just at the jump here, let's be mindful. Let's not be too overreactionary to the way the team played in the first half. But let's also not be too overreactionary in the other direction to how well they played in the second half, because I do think a lot of what you saw last night from this team is what you are going to see, at least in the first half of the season. Maybe by the second half, they work out these bumps in the road, but they played last night without Jalen Green. Think about how many new players that weren't on the Phoenix Suns last year played key pivotal roles. Think about the players that were on this team last year that have had their roles changed. It takes time for things to settle. It takes time for you to find your rhythm. So I'm predicting it now. You're going to see a lot of halves like the first half that you saw against the Sacramento Kings last night. This is still a young, inexperienced team, a team that's trying to find their footing. Even the veterans that they do have trying to figure out where they fit in, and they don't have Jalen Green. So when he comes back, there's going to be an adjustment period to that. You're going to see halves like the first half against the Kings, but I think you're also going to see stretches like you saw in the second half. This is what this team is going to be. But I'll tell you what, this team last year, twice, made a comeback of 20 points or more. One game into the season, they already have one of those on their resume. I'm not sure if last year's team does this in the first game of the year. I know early last year, they did spot opponents some big deficits that they had to chunk themselves out of. But I don't know if last year's team does this. I don't know if last year's team this early in the season is able to galvanize the way this group did in the second half and play as well as they did late in the third quarter into the fourth quarter, and were able to then take full control of this game. It was a run at the end of the third quarter into the fourth quarter where the Suns flipped from being down 7 or 8. They were kind of keeping it close. They took a lead, and you felt like they were in control of the game after they took the lead. You felt like no chance the Kings come back. The Suns were just firing on all cylinders, flying all over the place. And I'll tell you what, in the second half of that game last night, you saw everything that you want to see from this team, that we expected to see from this team. And I'll be the first person to raise my hand, say that I watched the second half of this game, and I'm watching this team have a 20-point deficit that they have to overcome. And you're looking at who's out there on the floor, and you're thinking to yourself, I just don't see it. I don't see how they're going to be able to score enough points, especially without Jalen Green. Somebody else needs to step up and be a scoring outlet outside of Devin Booker, who ended up dropping 31 in the game. And sorry, I don't just trust Dylan Brooks to be that guy. I don't trust Grayson Allen to be that guy. I don't trust Ryan Dunn to be that guy. Any of the centers to be that guy. You just didn't know where it was going to come from. Without Jalen Green, who is going to be that second scoring option? Well, it was a group collective effort. Grayson Allen got hot in the third quarter. Dylan Brooks took a ton of shots, knocked down some threes. Royce O'Neal added a couple of buckets. You had everybody contributing. And I just didn't think this early in the season they were going to be able to do that. A huge culture-defining win. We talked yesterday about the needs and wants of Jordan Knott in year one as a head coach. And one of the needs was, I've got to see the culture. They were going to get there. It is clear how the Phoenix Suns want to play basketball. You saw it. You saw it the way Colin Gillespie played. You saw it in the way coach. You saw it. It is clearly identifiable what this team wants to be and what this team can be. And look, they're 1-0. And with the way that they played in the second half, you can't help but think that they can go out there and compete with anybody. They have the Clippers up next, right? On Friday. Clippers team that got blown out by the Jazz by 20-plus points. You're starting to feel pretty good about what you're going to be able to do in the early part of the season. Just a great first impression. You only got one shot at it. And that first half, I texted producer Evan. When did I text you? Close to halftime?
Yeah, you texted me Well, I texted you. No, you texted me right before half. They don't look great. Just missing a ton of easy buckets.
Right.
I responded, not at all the first half we were looking for.
Felt in the first half like this was a team that they were getting looks at the rim, but they weren't finishing them. And I'm sorry, talent-wise, they're not a good enough team to miss those types of chances. And they're not the type of team, I know they did it last night, they're not really designed to come back from being down 16, 18, 20 points. They're just not designed that way. They don't have a ton of scoring options. Last year they did. You knew, even though they didn't do it a ton, you knew that if they were down 15, 20, you could see the path, right? All right, Kevin Durant's going to take over the game. Devin Booker's going to take over the game, and they're just going to score to get themselves back into it. Other than Devin Booker, who's the player that you trust? Now, that's going to be Jalen Green, but they just don't have that other player right now. And it was Dillon Brooks last night, and let's go here. Don't overreact to Dillon Brooks taking 24 shots last night. Somebody needed to step up in the absence of Jalen Green not being there. And Dillon Brooks is a player who does shoot that type of volume. He does like to take his shots. He's a veteran. And you know what? You needed him to take those type of shots because who else was going to do it? And I thought Brooks played great, but don't overreact to him leading the team in field goal attempts. I don't think that's going to be the case more often than not. I think early part of the season, not having Jalen Green, everybody still trying to finding their footing. It needs somebody to step up, and Dillon Brooks took on that role. And another takeaway that I had from last night's game, I mean, you see the difference. Having athleticism and size at the rim defensively. I mean, how great of a job did Mark Williams do off the bench last night in his 24 minutes?
He was awesome.
Boy, if the Suns can keep that dude healthy, they've got a player.
I mean, and we didn't. Gosh, what a difference it makes having somebody who can defend the rim.
And not only that, but he's just so physical.
They didn't have that kind of player at all last year. At all.
No.
And it feels like now they have 2, 3 guys on this roster that can play that brand of basketball. You saw a culture shift last night in the way this team plays.
They're just flying all over the place. How about the second, third efforts at the rim for rebounds, which they didn't have last year? How many times did they just give up free, easy rebounds last year, and you were so frustrated by it? How often did we come in here and talk about a Suns team that got out-rebounded, right? Especially on the offensive glass. Producer Evan, I'm not putting you on the spot. Do you know what the rebounding numbers were for last night? I have them here. Do you know how dominating the Suns were on the offensive side of the glass?
I don't.
They doubled the Kings in offensive rebounds, 18-9. They out-rebounded the Kings 51-37. How often last year did we say that?
Never. Felt like never were you sitting here saying the Suns out-rebounded a team.
Yeah, they did commit 16 turnovers, and that's going to happen, I think, with a team, especially this early on, needing to find themselves and know where players are going to be and just getting familiar with everybody. So let's see how that progresses over the year. But to win the offensive rebounding battle, to win the defensive rebounding battle, to take as many threes as they did, they didn't shoot that great from behind the three-point line, but they were 10 of 34 from behind the arc, less than 30%. You would expect that to get better as the season progresses. You got to be excited about what you saw last night because you saw a team that, let's face it, could have very easily folded it in. First game of the season, there's 80 plus more of them to go. This is a marathon, not a sprint. We all know that there's going to be growing pains, and already had the talking point set up. Already had it set up to say, okay, not the best first impression, but this is a slow boil here. This is cooking the Thanksgiving turkey. Takes a couple of hours. This isn't just throw it in the oven 20 minutes later, you got Thanksgiving dinner on the table. This isn't putting it in the microwave, boom, you got a meal. This takes some time. They didn't do that. They didn't fold. They battled, and they outplayed the Kings thoroughly in the second half.
I think the numbers that jump out to me, let me read you these numbers and ask yourself, does this team ever even compete in a game this way last year? They shot more shots at a worse percentage. They were 45 of 95. The Kings were 47 of 94. The Kings finished with an even 50% field goal percentage. The Suns had a 47% field goal percentage. The Kings were much more efficient from three. Although the Suns took more, the Kings shot 37.5% from beyond the arc. This is a game in which the Suns had 23 assists and, most importantly, outscored the Kings by 10 points in the paint. 64 points in the paint for the Suns last night, 54 for the Kings. I don't know if I can find a game last year where the Suns were less efficient from the field, less efficient from three, and scored more points in the paint than a team last year.
Over on the YouTube side of things, you can hang out with us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream and chat away. We love to shout out the listeners over there. John said, again, it was a tale of two halves. Which team will show up again? Suns were favored by 3.5, and that's fair. If your takeaway from that game last night is, man, that first half was brutal. It was. Just seemed it was sloppy at times. They were missing some key chances, and I do think some of that stuff gets cleaned up. But the second half was so strong from this team that I do think they will find an equilibrium. But like I said at the top, I do think you're going to see halves like the first half. You're also going to see halves like the second half. I do think that's part of this process. And shout out to Code over on YouTube, who said Colin Gillespie was big in key spots last night. I had that in my notes. How nice was it to see Gillespie get a serious role coming off the bench? 22 minutes was part of that run in the third quarter. I mean, there was a moment in the game where they were able to make a run. I think it was the end of the third, maybe it was the beginning of the fourth quarter. I can go back and look, where Devin Booker's off the floor and Grayson Allen's out there, Gillespie's out there, Brooks is out there, and they're making this push. And they're actually building a lead with Devin Booker off the floor. And Colin Gillespie made a play in the game where he crossed up a Kings defender and just knocked down a huge shot and picked up a foul, I think. And it was just like, yeah, that's the guy that we know can play in that type of role. Do I think he needs 37 minutes a night, needs to be your starting point guard? No. But that type of energy coming off the bench, that's what you need. That's what this team was missing last year. And good on Jordan Knott for seeing it, recognizing it, and putting Colin Gillespie into that role. By the way, real quick before we get out of here for the top of the show, Dylan Brooks already having the impact that everybody thought he would have. You saw him jarring with DeMar DeRozan on the one end of the floor. He knocks down a shot the entire way back to the other end defensively. He's just in DeMar DeRozan's ear, just chirping at him the entire possession. To your point, who on the Suns last year is doing that?
In the chat, too, John brings up, look at the plus minus of the starters. And I don't disagree, John. Some of it is glaring. Do you know what the biggest glaring number on that sheet is, though? Look at Mark Williams. Plus 15 with Mark Williams on the floor. You didn't have a guy in the paint last year who could do what Mark Williams did last night, and he didn't even start for you. 24 minutes. I thought he was the best player on the floor in those 24 minutes.
Yeah, the center rotation was interesting, right? Oso started, played the 19 minutes. Mark Williams came off the bench. He added 24 minutes. They got Nick Richards in there for some run for 5 minutes. And we'll talk about the absences last night a little bit later on in the show. But they need to keep Mark Williams healthy. And it certainly, you got the sense last night from the way they deployed him that this is part of a plan to try to keep him healthy. And listen, Oso provides a ton of athleticism, maybe not as much size, but allows you to play a little faster, allows you to play more in space, just with the athleticism that he brings. But Mark Williams, with those 11 rebounds in the 24 minutes, man, he was impactful. You had multiple, think about this, couldn't say this last year, and we're going to say that a lot, impactful subs off the bench. Mark Williams, Colin Gillespie, Royce O'Neal played a role coming off the bench. I thought Nigel Hayes-Davis was fine in his 10 minutes. And oh, by the way, we'll talk about this at the top of the second hour. You had 3 rookies that didn't get in there last night that we think could be contributors at some point this season. And you didn't have Jalen Green last night. That's going to push somebody else to the bench. So you're seeing a team that maybe doesn't have the top-end talent, but you saw some depth last night from this team. And we wanted excitement. We wanted fun. We wanted to enjoy watching Suns basketball. 1 for 1 so far at the start of the year. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, thought we may have missed doing a blame pie earlier this week in the show. Oh, no. Just a different type of blame pie being given out this week. We'll do it next. It's the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
This is what I mean when I say that was a collapse for the ages. An all-time tank job. Not only did the Giants lead 19-0 going into the fourth quarter, they scored 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, and they still lost. The Giants were 99.8% to win that game, according to ESPN. But according to the Broncos, the number was actually 0.0%.
Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
At Winco, we're working to save you money.
big savings on top quality meat, produce, seafood, and deli. Bakery fresh breads, cakes, and cookies made daily in store. Low prices on top quality national brands and thousands of our own private label. In every aisle, every department, every day.
9 stores in the Phoenix area, including the new Santan Valley location.
Hi, I'm Andrew the Homebuyer. Selling your house right now the traditional way isn't so easy. The average home is taking months to sell. Fortunately, I can help. I'll come to your home and give you a cash offer within minutes. Then we can close in under 5 days. And I'll make sure you get as much money for your house as possible. Call me, Andrew the Homebuyer, today, and let's get your home sold. Visit AndrewTheHomebuyer.com. That's AndrewTheHomebuyer.com.
Hey, it's Pat. So I went for ice cream the other night, and they had 48 flavors. I couldn't decide. Well, the Valley Toyota dealers have put me in that same position. They have 19 hybrid models to choose from, more than any other brand. How could you choose? Like the ice cream shop, I had to test all 19. Unlike the ice cream shop, I didn't go home with a bellyache, so that's a small win.
Right now, get a rugged 2025 Tacoma SR or SR5 with 1.75% 48-month financing. Or get low 1.75% financing for up to 72 months on a full-size Tundra. With great deals like this, now's the perfect time to visit your Valley Toyota dealer or valleytoyotadealers.com. Toyota. Let's go places. 1.75% with $21.59 per thousand borrowed for 48 months. 1.75% with $14.64 per thousand borrowed for 72 months. Offers end 11/3/25 and exclude CRD Pro models. See dealer for details.
I'm here with your own report. Spoiler alert, and it's bad news for all you Dodger haters. LA is going to go back-to-back and win their 3rd world championship in 6 years, making them a dynasty with no signs of slowing down. And before you say it, no, they did not buy this dynasty. If you could buy a championship, we would soon be crowning the Mets, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. Being rich and being a great organization are two different things, and the Dodgers are both. And as much as I respect Toronto, they just don't have LA's big stage experience, nor LA's disgusting starting rotation. But they can absolutely mash, so it'll be strength on strength. LA's arms against Toronto's bats, and I'm going to take the arms all day long, especially given the fact that LA has guys who can swing it too. All-stars, Hall of Famers, and complimentary dudes who always seem to show up and show out when it matters most. Fact is, this one feels like light work for LA. It is a dynasty, haters. I'm Jim Rome.
O'Reilly. Trust the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the products for your next oil change. Right now, get 5 quarts of Valvoline full synthetic motor oil and a Wix filter for $35.99. Plus, get a $15 gift card after rebate. Limits apply. See your O'Reilly Auto Parts store for details or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Oklahoma City taking out everybody on their way to a championship. One of the youngest, I think the average 26 years old.
Yeah.
Rich. As long as they have the Derek Jeter, Michael Jordan gene, or at least one person on that team, hopefully it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, they have a chance. And listen, it's human nature to be the best and think, I'll be the best again. And then you fall short. I'm going to say Oklahoma City will not go back-to-back.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
I know you were thinking it. You were wondering where it was yesterday. There's no blame pie given out earlier this week on the show. We didn't give out the reasons for the loss on Sunday. You were ready to, team listener, I know you. I hear you out there. You were ready to get on us by the time the week was over. Joke's on you. A little bit of a different version of the blame pie here today, this week on the show. Because it's the bye week, we figured, let's try to figure out how on earth we got here. To where we are sitting here on the bye week for the Arizona Cardinals, and they are 2-5, and we are questioning everything. Future of everything is up in the air through 7 weeks. So we're going to try to get to the bottom of how we got here. I have 5 candidates that deserve some share of the blame pie, and I promise the math will be better this week on the blame pie. We tend to, at times, math can be a problem for us.
We get a little lost.
We get a little lost in the numbers. I think we're going to be okay today. 5 candidates. And let's start. This is in no particular order. We're just going to lay all of them out, and then we can divvy up the blame. The first person I had written down was the general manager, Monty Ossenford, for the state of this roster, for not addressing wide receiver 2, for the overall lack of talent that this team has on both sides of the ball, an offensive line that's a question mark on the right side. You decided to run it back entirely. A running back room that is depleted. I don't put that on you, but it is your job here to find some pieces that can help out in that regard. Defensively, you made a ton of additions. Is Josh Sweat making the impact that we thought he would? Maybe he's falling a little short of that bar. The overall state of this roster is not as healthy as I think we thought it was going into the season, especially on the offensive side of the ball. The early gamble to not do anything to that side of the ball feels like a missed opportunity. It feels like a failed bet. So that's Monty. You have the head coach, Jonathan Gannon, the failings in the fourth quarter, the aggressiveness, lack of aggressiveness, the situational football, the underpreparedness at times that this team looks like, especially that first half against Seattle on Thursday night. We mentioned those failings in the fourth quarter, being outscored 44-6 over the last 3 weeks in the fourth quarter. 4 of the last 5 games being outscored in the fourth quarter, just not finishing games, not having that killer instinct. That falls on the coach. Quarterback, Kyler Murray. He's hurt. I don't put that on him, right? That's not the reason why they're 2-5. But when he's been in there, offense hasn't looked great. It hasn't looked great to the point where we're questioning the play calling. We're questioning the offensive coordinator. We're questioning Kyler's future. When he hasn't been in the lineup, the offense has looked better. It's looked more efficient. They've been able to move the ball. Jacoby Brissett has the offense in rhythm, ahead of schedule. They're able to move the ball. They're able to finish drives with points. They're able to get into the end zone. Trey McBride has looked like the best version of himself the last 2 weeks. It's a bad look on Kyler. The defense plays great for 3 quarters, doesn't finish games. Even the games that they've won, the defense has been put in a blender. How about that fourth quarter against Carolina? Time and time again, this defense has failed this team when it's mattered the most. So that group in general gets put on the list. And then this was an addition from producer Evan late in the process. We're going to talk about this player in particular a little bit later on in the show. But Marvin Harrison Jr. and just not being the wide receiver 1 that this team needs. Those are your candidates. Those, I think, are the recipients of slices of blame pie. Those groups, entities, are the reason why the Arizona Cardinals are 2-5. Am I missing anybody? Am I missing any particular group? You want to put the offensive line on there? You want to put the wide receiver room outside of Marv on there? I don't feel as strongly about those 2 groups. And I've got the entire team back. Now we got to decide who gets the blame. Where do you want to start?
I have to start with the head coach. We'll trickle it down. We'll start with that. Well, actually, if you want to trickle it down, you want to start with the general manager.
You want to start with who's going to get the biggest slice of pie?
We could do that.
I think it's the defense, no? They're the ones not executing.
I think it's the general manager.
Really? Because the only other person I was going to consider would be Gannon. You make your case. Make your case for Monty. I'm not saying you can win me over, but make your case.
This team is so bad at so many positions. You're talking about a receiver room that can't get it done when they need it to. You're talking about a team that made adjustments to the defensive line, and they're still giving up massive leads in the fourth quarter, and some of it's execution, some of it's talent. They feel less talented than how many games they've walked out. Other than Tennessee and Carolina, they have felt less talented in almost every game, maybe the New Orleans Saints.
So how much of the pie do you want to give to Monty?
25%?
For the failings of this roster? See, to me, Monty deserves criticism. That's why he's on the list. That's why he's going to get a slice of a blame pie. I don't think what is happening to this team in the fourth quarter is a talent issue.
Okay. Then
I don't think it is happening because they're missing X or they're missing Y to where I can say, hey, Mr. GM, why didn't you go out there and do that? This is an execution thing. I think if you were going to put blame on one individual the most, I would put it on Gannon for what's happening in the fourth quarter, not Monty.
That's fair. Then I would say
So I want to give the 25% that you want to give to Monty.
to Gannon.
I want to give it to the defense.
Okay.
And you've lost 3 consecutive games in which you had a lead of 7 points or more going into the fourth quarter. That's on the defense.
It's on the defense.
25% going to the defense. Now, I think there are 2 candidates next up to get the second slice. Hot off the presses. I think it's Jonathan Gannon, and I think it's Kyler Murray.
And it has to be Gannon. Now we're at a position where they've ran a different quarterback out there for the last 2 years. Still, I would do.
You want 15% for Gannon?
Sounds fair.
So 40% tied up in the defense, and Gannon, we've got another 60% to give out.
You want to give another 15% to Murray?
I'll give 15% to Kyler. I may give, what does that give? That puts us at 55. We have another 45% to give out for 2 people. And we may need to up these percentages. This is where the math becomes a little bit of a challenge for us. We may need to up these percentages.
I think we're going to have to.
I think the defense goes from 25 to 30%.
30% for the defense. Why don't we just bump everybody up 5%?
So we go 30, 20, and 20. That gets us to 70. We've got 30% left over.
For Monty and Marvin Harrison?
I'm going to give Marvin Harrison Jr.
15%?
7% of the blame.
7. What an odd number.
And then what do I have left over? 23%?
You have 23%.
Monty gets 23% of the blame.
I agree.
I've got the defense at 30%. I've got Monty at 23%, JG and Kyler at 20%, and Marv at 7%.
I like it.
Mainly for that one game against Seattle in which he directly impacted 2 touchdowns.
Yes. Yeah.
Dropping a touchdown in San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Twice.
So you got 2 there. And, the Monty stuff, like Zay Jones' drops fall on Monty. You can't blame Zay Jones.
Jonah Williams being a turnstile falls on
Monty.
So, yeah, he slots in number 2.
The woes of the offensive line, really the offense in general, feel like they fall on Monty. And I'm not blaming the running backs on him. That's a situational thing.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, can you imagine a world before the season where, oh, hey, we're going to lose James Conner and Trey Benson? Like, you can't.
No.
As a GM, you can prepare for a lot. You can't prepare for that.
No. But you could have prepared for
the offensive line coming back in the same state that it was in last year and trusting a draft pick of yours in Isaiah Adams to be your starting right guard. That didn't work out. Yes. Jonah Williams, a free agent that you signed to be your right tackle, not working out. Will Hernandez, the guy that you brought back, struggling, coming off of an injury. You just didn't hedge your bets correctly in that regard. You didn't hedge your bets correctly with an additional wide receiver to this wide receiver room.
He had the opportunity for this offense to be right. This offense that struggled last year with an aging running back that you relied on, and you didn't make any additions.
Didn't make a single tweak to that side of the ball. So, yeah, you get 23% of the blame. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, they'll be without the best wide receiver in the nation. Can they still pick up a win on Saturday? That's next. The lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Hello, everybody. Eric Bryan, owner of Precision Air and Plumbing. When it comes to your comfort, results matter. That's why Precision has been voted the #1 ranked AC company in the Valley for over a decade, delivering the best installation in the state. And now's the perfect time to upgrade. Get $2,500 off a new AC unit, plus receive the Valley's only 10-year workmanship warranty. Protect your home, lower your stress, stay comfortable all year long. Make the Precision decision today. Call us at 602-FIX-MY-AC.
My Chemical Romance, the Black Parade 2026. Live at Chase Field, September 6th, 2026. With special guest, Jimmy Eat World. Get tickets now at livenation.com. For more, visit mychemicalromance.com.
Meet Barkley. When Barkley smells gas, he leaves fast. When Barkley hears hissing coming from a gas appliance, he leaves fast. When Barkley sees dirt or water shooting from the ground, he leaves fast. Barkley then calls 911 and Southwest Gas from a safe location.
Did that dog just grab a phone and dial 911?
Gas lines can be buried anywhere, so remember to call 911 and Southwest Gas.
This winter, step into a world of wonder at the Tianyu Lights Festival, open from October 24th through January 4th at Camelback Ranch, Glendale, and Phoenix. Explore the 4 new themes: Bugs Aglow, Colors of Holidays, Rainforest, and Prehistoric Animals, which feature 70 glowing handcrafted lanterns. Enjoy delicious foods and beverages at our food court, explore the interactive lanterns, and complete your visit with a trip to the marketplace where you'll find unique souvenirs. Don't miss this unforgettable holiday experience. Tickets are available now.
A pepperoni pizza for the table.
Thank you.
May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness, while the carbonation and notes of citrus enhance the flavor profile. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time. Pizza deserves Pepsi.
'Tis scratches season, and all through the state, the Arizona Lottery is giving people something to celebrate. Grab your friends and gather round for the chance to win $250,000 with cash countdown. Peppermint scented candy cane cash is available at any Arizona Lottery retailer in a flash. Gift these and 4 more games for any reason, because there are more than $80 million in prizes this season. This year and all, we wish you a happy holiday. From Arizona Lottery, love to play.
James out west, Mike Trout became the 59th player to hit his 400th home run. The home run record holder for the Angels. I was going to quiz you. Who do you think the number 2 is on the list for all-time home runs for the Anaheim Angels?
I would assume it's Shohei Ohtani.
Nope, Tim Salmon.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
299 for Tim Salmon. Mike Trout got 101 more than the next
Talk about
guy.
naming a random MLB player that had a
Yeah.
really good career.
Yeah,
That's
dude, I loved watching Tim Salmon, bro. I'm about to
299 home runs.
cut together some Tim Salmon highlights.
Every other Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060.
Kenny Dillingham met with the media yesterday, made it official. Jordan Tyson not going to play on Saturday. We're calling it early evening with a 5 o'clock kick. Evening to me is like sun's got to be down. It's like 7 o'clock.
5 o'clock's the evening.
So early evening game against Houston over the weekend. No Jordan Tyson on the field for the Sun Devils, and this is a player that is leading the Big 12 in every major statistical category among wide receivers. He's first in receptions, got 57 of those. He's first in yards, 628. He's first in touchdowns with 8. The next person in line's not particularly close, really, in any of those statistics other than touchdowns. and he is lapping the field. He's the best wide receiver in the nation. He's more than likely trending towards being the first wide receiver taken in April in the 2026 NFL Draft. You don't need me to open up this segment of the program. You are too smart of a listener for me to tell you how big of a loss this is. You don't need me to do that. He's not going to be playing on Saturday for the Sun Devils. What we are going to try to do here now is figure out, can they still win in his absence? Because it's not pretty after Jordan Tyson. I pulled these numbers today. After Tyson, I just gave you his numbers: 57 catches, 628 yards, 8 touchdowns. After that, producer Evan, can you've got 400 screens in that studio.
I got them.
Could you use one of them and pull up a calculator for me?
A calculator. Got it.
We're going to do some more math here. I know, again, it's a bit troubling on the show when we do math, but we're using a calculator. These are the next 4 receivers in terms of total yardage this season for the Arizona State Sun Devils. Again, I'm taking out Jordan Tyson and his 628 yards. Shimon Mateer has 226. So can we put 226 in the calculator?
226.
Let's add Jaron Hamilton's 145. Let's add Raleek Brown's 139. And then Derek Eusebio's 111. You punch that into the calculator, the next 4 receivers on the Sun Devils, what do you get?
621 total yards.
The next 4 receivers after Jordan Tyson combined have less yards than he has through 7 games. Eusebio's only played in 6. Those are the numbers. That's the reality of the situation on Saturday for the Sun Devils. They are without not only the best receiver in football, they are not only without the best player on their football team, but they are without the only person that makes their passing game go. It's not a shot at any of these other guys. But without Jordan Tyson, I don't know what the Sun Devil passing offense can even look like. Because the numbers tell me combined those 4 players aren't Jordan Tyson.
That's what it feels like.
I got a tight end and a running back in there. I don't even have other receivers. The next guy on the list is a tight end. Raleek Brown, who's 4th, is a running back. The only receiver inside the top 4 that's not Jordan Tyson is Jaron Hamilton, who has 4 catches for 145 yards.
I just want to be very clear, by the way, he had 3 catches for 101 yards last week.
So basically a 1-game sample size has put him number 2 among receivers. That's how dire this is on Saturday for the Sun Devils. Now, you're facing a Houston team that's not going to wow you in any of the statistics defensively. They're not awful, but they're not great. They're not elite. I'll pull them up here for you. Defensively this year, they allow 137.7 rushing yards per game. That's 49th best in college football. So basically a middle-of-the-road college football rushing defense. Passing-wise, they give up 208.3 passing yards. That's good for 45th in the nation. Again, a middle-of-the-road defense in both regards. We said it yesterday. We think this team's going to have to run the ball 40-plus times. We think they're going to have to lean into the run because I just shared with you the numbers. Who do you trust? Who are you going to ask to step up? Who is going to take all of those targets that would go to Jordan Tyson? And it's not so much as scheming up plays. It's, does Sam Levitt trust those guys? Will he make those tight window throws to Hamilton like he does to Tyson? No. Because guess what? Most quarterbacks aren't going to throw the same ball to Jordan Tyson that they're going to throw to some of the receivers on Saturday.
It's a trust thing at the end of the day.
And it's just Jordan Tyson is a special, special player that can do incredible things that other players can't do. So you have to approach it differently. So real test. So a real test for this offense, a real test for Sam Levitt, a real test for this team. Because we've told you what's on the other side of Houston and what's on the other side of Iowa State is a red carpet rolled out for you. And it is a red carpet sending you back to the Big 12 championship where you can defend your title from a year ago. But you got to get through these 2 weeks. And on Saturday, you're at home. Fortunately, this isn't a road game where you have not played well this season, but it is a home game against a team that is really good this year. They're playing some good football. You have to bring your best, and you're without your best. So what do? What does Kenny have up his sleeve? What does Sam Levitt have up his sleeve? Is it going to be more design runs for the quarterback? Is it going to be leaning heavily on the running game? Is it going to be to try to grind this game to a halt? Because the last thing you can do is have these 3 and outs because you can't get your passing game going and give this Houston offense the ball. Can't do it. You'll dig yourself a hole. And I'm sorry, as much as I trust this team to thrive in the fourth quarter, can you really think in the second half of a game on Saturday, if they're down multiple scores, if they're down 10 points, if they're down a touchdown without Jordan Tyson, do you think they'll be able to move their offense and score points? You worry about their ability to do that.
Look at the games they've had to come back in this year, right? TCU, you're down 17. Jordan Tyson breaks that game open with a long touchdown that puts you on the board. They're just time and time again, Jordan has been the safety blanket, and for great reason. He is the best player on your football team. I can't stress that enough. Time and time again, he's been your safety blanket. You don't have that this week. You have to be able to run the football one and not fall behind in this football game, because it becomes increasingly more difficult to come back without your biggest weapon on the outside.
And I just gave you the numbers. You knew it was very one-dimensional in their passing game, but the numbers show you how one-dimensional it is. Now, the flip side, if we want to be positive for a second, opportunities aplenty on Saturday.
Yeah.
Hamilton, this is your moment, man. You went to Alabama, transferred in here to Arizona State. This is your chance. You're a highly touted player. Go be that guy this weekend. Go build off of what you did a week ago. Go be a player that can be a number one in this offense, because you've got the talent to do so.
And we saw Derek Eusebio be a part of what they did at Baylor.
You had a stat for me about Derek Eusebio in the morning meeting.
You're talking about the last receiver to catch a regular season touchdown for the Sun Devils was Derek Eusebio on his first college touch at University of Arizona last year.
There's a key qualifier in there that you missed. The receiver not named Jordan Tyson. The last receiver not named Jordan Tyson to catch a regular season touchdown. Yeah, it's pretty clear, but I just want to make sure we get everybody in here. Jordan Tyson, outside of him, the only player to catch a touchdown pass. You have to go all the way back to the U of A game last year. Derek Eusebio on his first touch scores a touchdown. That's it. That's the uphill battle, the mountain that the Sun Devils are trying to climb on Saturday.
By the way, Trenton Bourget threw that pass. So Sam Levitt has not thrown a touchdown to a receiver not named Jordan Tyson since prior to that.
And they're going to be without Jordan Tyson on Saturday, and they have a group. The next four leading receivers on the team combined this year have less yards, has less touchdowns, I believe has less receptions than Jordan Tyson does this season. Somebody's got to step up. Really big thing to keep an eye on Saturday, and we'll get more into this game tomorrow on a Football Friday edition of the show. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to hang out with us here today on the show. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream as well. On the other side, we wrap up hour number one here of the program. Thanks for hanging out with us. We got a little buy or sell, the hottest takes in the Valley right here on the show. Producer Evan has them. I'm buying or selling those takes next. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
On your ride home from work, join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
If we owned our own football team called the Angry Roosters, and we kept signing people to contracts, and they weren't honoring their contracts and kept demanding raises, at what point do we throw our hands up and just say no to everybody? We signed you to a contract, play out your contract, and that's it. You earn a better contract on your next one, we'll pay you for that.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Hello, everybody.
Gary, why are you wearing a...
Hold on, Ron. Every time Gary walks in here wearing some goofy costume, you always say, Gary, why are you wearing that?
Yeah, but...
And then it turns into some long-winded story about Alaskifications.
Yeah, but...
Then Gary says something ridiculous.
Yeah, but...
And you agree that an Alaskification before winter is the best way to prepare for cold weather.
Yeah, but...
And how Alaskan AC guarantees no breakdowns.
Yeah, but...
And all it does is encourage Gary to walk around wearing a stupid-looking ski mask that no person in his right mind would get caught dead wearing.
Yeah, but he's wearing my ski mask.
Keeping my head protected, just like the Alaskification protects your heater.
My ski mask isn't stupid looking.
Look who's wearing it. I choose to ignore that remark. Because you know another one is coming.
Take off that stupid ski mask.
See?
And that's why you should schedule your Alaskification today.
What did we accomplish here?
I'm not sure, but today is a good day to Alaskify. Schedule now at alaskanac.com.
This is the sound of Jack, buzz cutting his way to a small fortune. To Jack, every time he cuts his own hair, that's $50 right in his pocket. If Jack sees DIY buzz cuts as a saving strategy, Wells Fargo is right behind him. And with their mobile app, tracking his savings is easy. Oh, ouch. However you make money work, we can work with that.
Mobile carriers' message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Come visit the all-new Wekopa Casino Resort, formerly Fort McDowell Casino. Whether you're visiting for slots, table games, the Valley's favorite bingo hall, golf, or food, our new smoke-free casino resort is the place to be. Enjoy a fine dining experience like no other at Ember, or go for the lively crowd at WKP Sportsbook and Bar. Wekopa offers 2 top 10 golf courses in the state, and the resort with heated pools and cabanas is the perfect place to relax. Come experience Wekopa Casino Resort today. At Wekopa, we have the best of it all.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the Valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Show has flown by today. We're already at the end of hour number 1 of the show here on Thursday. We've got a Football Friday tomorrow, which should be a lot of fun. Can't wait to get back in the mix with all of you with the picks.
Feels like this whole week. Welcome back.
What's going on? Even on a bye week for the Arizona Cardinals. A lot going on, and next week we'll get you ready for their matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. But we got everything for you tomorrow on a Football Friday edition of the show. In the meantime, we wrap up hour number 1 of the Thursday edition of the show with a little buy or sell, the hottest takes in the Valley, found right here on the program. Producer Evan, he opens up ChatGPT, says, give me the hottest takes in sports talk radio right now in the Valley. And then he reads them to me on the air. No, that's not what he does.
That is no, I'm just kidding.
He comes up with them on his own, and then I have to buy or sell those takes. Although it would be fun one day to see what AI has.
Honestly, I think that would be really fun. I can't risk it on a Football Friday tomorrow because there's just too much on a Football Friday.
No, you can do it and just be prepared, double prepared.
No, I want to do one day where it's just ChatGPT.
Here's what you should do. You should try to sneak it in one day next week and don't tell me.
And see if you notice.
And see if I can pick up on it.
Yeah, that'd be a fun
Now, you're
game.
not allowed to.
I tell you after the fact.
Well, what you have to do is you have to tell ChatGPT what you're doing. Hey, I'm a producer of a radio show. We do this segment. You got to explain it.
Yeah.
I need 5 takes about the current happenings in Valley sports, and you have to read them to me exactly the way
How they're written.
You can't alter them.
That's where you're gonna tell.
Probably.
Because even the way I have them written, I'm always altering.
Right, I have notes, but sometimes I don't read the notes verbatim. I just have their bullet points to jog my memory while we're doing the show. All right, what do we got today? Not AI generated today.
No, this is written by producer Evan. The Suns' win last night makes you more confident in where this team can go this year.
More confident in where this team can go this year. Yeah, I'll buy this. I thought the grittiness we knew we were going to see it that quickly was nice. To see them erase a 20-point deficit in the first game of the season, to me, shows the buy-in. And if the buy-in is there earlier than we expect, then the results could come earlier than we expect. Now, hear me very clearly. Not going to be a 5 seed, not going to be a title contender, not going to even threaten to make a deep run. But we talked about this team being on the fringes and probably being able to be in the mix for a play-in spot. If this team can continue to channel what they did in the second half and build and grow and clean up the mistakes from the first half, and they have the buy-in the way that we saw last night, do I think they can find themselves as the 8 or 9 seed? And if some injury breaks go their way, they're in the mix to be a play-in tournament team? Absolutely, that is on the table, so I'll buy.
Through one game, Mark Williams was the best addition to the Suns this offseason.
Wow. He was really good last night. 11 rebounds in 24 minutes. Played his role perfectly coming off the bench. Showed off all the physicality. I loved everything about Dylan Brooks last night. I did. I loved everything about his performance.
And we said that too. I mean, he took 24 shots last night. Don't expect that to continue.
Nor do I want it to continue, right? I don't expect it to, nor do I want it to. I don't think that's a winning formula. Without Jalen Green, somebody had to do it. But I'll sell because I thought Dylan Brooks just had that's a missing ingredient. And I know what Mark Williams provided last night was also a missing ingredient, but Dylan Brooks being in the face of DeMar DeRozan, man, it's just a grittiness. That's just going to annoy everybody.
I mean, they're going to get in people's heads. That's what this team already feels like they can do.
Right. Mark Williams is going to be able to do it. Ryan Dunn's going to be able to do it the way he plays defense. Dylan Brooks is going to be able to do it.
They're going to be bothersome.
And
people are going to hate playing the Suns. That's the mentality they want.
That's what you want. You want teams to hate when the Suns come up on their schedule. Through one game, I think we're seeing that come to play. But I'll sell. Dylan Brooks for me.
ASU will have to force at least 2 turnovers this weekend against Houston to win without Jordan Tyson.
I mean, always if you win the turnover battle, you're always going to have a good chance to win. And when you do it at home, you can very quickly flip those turnovers into points. Gets the crowd into it. They're big chunk plays that can really get the energy going. But I don't think they need it. They're a really talented football team, even without Jordan Tyson. They've got really talented running backs that can run the ball. They could choose, if they want to go all mid-2000s. We're going to play defense and run the ball and just time of possession you to death.
Call Jonathan Gannon.
Except for the fourth quarter. I'd like Kenny to stay in charge for the fourth quarter if that's all right with everybody else. That they can do that. Sam Levitt is a talented enough quarterback, and they have talented enough playmakers, even without Jordan Tyson, where they can move the ball. To me, when you make a comment like that, when you have a take like that they have to force so many turnovers, that to me says that there is a talent disparity between the two sides. ASU is the more talented football team. ASU is 8-point favorites, so they open this week as 8-point favorites because they're the better, more talented football team. You don't need to create those types of plays in order to win.
I'm interested to see how much they'll use Sam Levitt in the run game, given he was gimpy last week, right? Didn't play 2 weeks ago at Utah. Sure. He certainly looked like he didn't have the same burst in the game last week. Are you going to use him in the run game consistently this week?
It is my opinion that if he is out there playing quarterback and you are not going to utilize the entirety of your playbook, then he shouldn't be playing. If he is out there on the field under center, you need to utilize every single bit of his skill set.
I agree.
If he's compromised and it takes away a chunk of his game, then I'm sorry, he can't play.
Well, I don't know about that. Jeff Sims clearly wasn't the better option.
Jeff Sims has been a turnover-prone quarterback, an injury-prone quarterback since his days at Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Just what you saw get from him in Utah is exactly who he's been his entire career. Exactly.
The Cardinals will have to make their decision on whether they're going to go with Brissett or Kyler for the rest of the year at the bye week.
Do we think that there's an actual decision? I'm not throwing your take under the bus here, but do we think that there's an actual decision? I think they're just going back to Kyler.
I'll be honest with you. I think there is more of a decision than you think.
You think there are, behind closed doors, some real serious...
I think there's a talking track because this thing has gone so poorly. Your offense has looked better. And I think it's to the point where there's maybe some internal fear that Gannon could be coaching for his job. And if that's the case, then they're going to roll with the better quarterback.
You are giving more confidence to them having that conversation than I am?
Because if you are going to move on from Monty and Gannon, why do I care about Kyler's value in the offseason?
Here's what I really want to know. What does the locker room feel? That's really...
Yeah,
that's
it's a great
what I
question.
wanna know.
It's a great question.
Does the locker room feel like they have a better chance to win with Kyler? Or do they feel like they have a better chance to win with Brissett? Because that's going to guide the decision. If sticking with Kyler is going to lose the locker room, then that is a one-way ticket for Jonathan Gannon to go to being a defensive coordinator somewhere next season. One-way ticket.
If you have a locker room that wants Jacoby to play.
If you play Kyler and you continue to lose and you lose the locker room, now you don't get a year 4. You're a defensive coordinator somewhere. So and I don't know the answer to that question, but that's the question that they need to answer. And to me, just based off of vibes, I think everybody would be okay with them going back to Kyler. Maybe not for the whole season, but for that Monday game against Dallas coming out of the bye, Kyler should be the starter. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. When we come back, last night's Suns game had everything. Well, almost everything. That's next. The lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
These lawyers say they treat clients like family while secretly putting mandatory settlement quotas on their lawyers.
We never set settlement quotas. We measure success by achieving each client's best outcome.
Do your research. Call the husband and wife law team first.
As part of the Ford Building Together initiative to build and rebuild communities, Desert Ford dealers and Team Rubicon are helping to rebuild Globe, Arizona following recent flooding. If you'd like to donate to Team Rubicon efforts, visit our website to find a link. Go to donate.teamrubiconusa.org/donation/Ford dealers. And now, name something dads can do at the Arizona State Fair.
Have your first kiss on the sky ride.
Yes!
Hold purses and a beer and a turkey leg and still look cool.
Yes, you are correct.
The 2025 Arizona State Fair, open at noon Thursdays through Sundays in October. Check out azstatefair.com for tickets.
Stay at the heart of it all with a special Cliff Castle room rate starting at just $99 with no resort fees. Less fees mean more ways to choose your next adventure at the gateway to the region's best gaming, entertainment, and natural wonders. And expect service from the heart as well. We think you'll love your stay with us and all the value we provide, starting at just $99 with no added fees. Cliff Castle Casino Hotel, at the heart of it all. Valid Sunday through Thursday. Some restrictions apply. An enterprise of the Yavapai Apache Nation.
Hey, Mr. C, it's me. Well, I just picked up the ring. I actually went to Hellsberg. Thanks for that recommendation. Kate's gonna love that hers is from the same jeweler you got Mrs. C's ring from. They were so helpful throughout the whole process. They even knew your family by name. And the ring looks great. Anyways, I just couldn't wait to let you guys know. Call me back and wish me luck.
Hellsberg, designed with care and craft since 1915. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Want something fast and fresh for lunch? Try the Peter Piper Pizza all-you-can-eat weekday lunch buffet. Available from 11 to 2 every Monday through Friday, Peter Piper Pizza's lunch buffet is loaded with delicious pizza, fresh chopped salad, garlic cheese bread, and our famous cinnamon crunch dessert. Our dough is made from scratch every day and topped with real mozzarella cheese and the freshest ingredients. For the best all-you-can-eat pizza and salad lunch buffet in town, head to Peter Piper Pizza from 11 to 2 every Monday through Friday. At Peter Piper Pizza, the fun is baked in.
It's the grand opening of Fulton Homes' newest master plan community, Acclaim. This beautiful community features open spaces, multiple parks, and a large aquatic center. Visit FultonHomes.com. Fulton Homes. You're proud to own. We're proud to build.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Hour number 2 here, the lunch break, Thursday edition of the show. Thanks for hanging out with us. Chris Schubert with you. Producer Evans on the other side of the glass, continuing to break down the Suns starting their season, their campaign, 1-0, a 120-116 comeback victory over the Sacramento Kings, erasing a 20-point deficit. Devin Booker scored 31, led the way. A full team effort, right? I think that's the big takeaway, Producer Evan. You described last night as a full team effort. This isn't a game where one guy took over and just put the team on his back. You saw the makings of a repeatable performance with the way this team played in the second half. And I do think some of the first half woes would have been cleaned up if the Suns just made some of the easy baskets that they just missed on in the first half of that game. I think the game would have been a lot closer, and I think we would feel a lot better about it. That game had everything. It had a bad first half that made you question everything about the summer, a second half that reminded you of all of the reasons to buy in. You saw the performances from players like Mark Williams and Dillon Brooks, who, let's face it, that's a win last night for Brian Gregory. Brian Gregory said, I got to have Dillon Brooks on my basketball team. I got to have Mark Williams on my basketball team. The Suns laughed out of, I believe the draft was at the Barclays Center, laughed out of the Barclays Center. You drafted a center number 10 overall. You then trade for a center a mere minutes, hours, seconds later. Why are you doing that? It's because I got to have players like Dillon Brooks. I got to have players like Mark Williams on my team because of the impact that they can have like they did last night. I got to bring players like Colin Gillespie back and find a role for them, playing 22 minutes last night. You saw big win last night for Brian Gregory, the way that game was played, and the players that were key contributors in their second half comeback. Game had everything last night. Everything in just one regular season NBA game, the Suns had it. Except one thing. One thing was missing. Because if you go to the box score, you'll see Malawach didn't play, Ray didn't play, Fleming didn't play. 0 minutes from any of the rookies that the Suns selected in the 2025 NBA draft. 0 minutes. Malawach, number 10 overall pick, didn't draw into the lineup, didn't get in there. Now, that's a byproduct of having 4 centers on your roster. Only 3 of them are going to play. Nick Richards only got 5 minutes in the game, and it feels like very quickly that could flip to where those minutes are Malawach's minutes. But are we surprised by what we saw last night? Should we be surprised by what we saw last night with the rookies not drawing any time? I know I was somewhat surprised. Now, maybe that's on me for expecting those rookies to find some level of time. And I will say this. I do think if the game continued to get out of hand in the third quarter, that the young guys would have played in the fourth quarter to get those NBA minutes. Yeah, it would have been in mop-up duty. Yeah, it would have been in a blowout. But it would have been NBA minutes for those guys to make their debuts, to get in there, to feel good about themselves, and to have a building block moving forward. I do think if the game got out of hand, Jordan Ott would have emptied the bench and would have gotten those guys minutes. But are we surprised that with the game on the line, the game being close, the game being competitive, they couldn't draw into the rotation? I don't think so. I don't think we should be surprised by it. I think this is kind of the expectation with young players in the NBA. Unless you're a can't-miss prospect, unless you're a can't-miss slam dunk number 1 player, this year, Victor Wembanyama, you got to earn your minutes. If you're Malawach, you got to earn time among the center group that, let's face it, is night and day different from last year. With Oso and Mark Williams and Nick Richards, you've got to earn your spot. And I trust in whatever plan the Suns have for those 3 young players to draw into this lineup. So I'm not concerned at their lack of minutes last night. There's a plan here. They've got work to do. It is going to be a work in progress for those guys. And the last thing you want to do as a Suns organization that is in a retool, not a rebuild, we're in a retool here. You don't want to speed guys along just for the sake of getting them action. Producer Evan, I think it's fair to say, unless this completely bottoms out, Brian Gregory and Jordan Ott are going to get a number of years to get this right. They're going to be given the runway, given the time to figure out how to get this team back on the map, right?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we outlined it as 2 to 3 years at least, given the Jonathan Gannett plan.
You're going to get that runway to get your people in here, to get your plan in here, to develop these players, to execute your plan, and to try to get this team back on. This isn't a instant coffee, in the microwave, 30 seconds, instant meal, right?
Nope.
So if I'm Brian Gregory and I'm Jordan Ott, I know I'm going to have time. The last thing I want to do is rush 3 players that I think can be key contributors. I don't want to rush their development just to get them into NBA action. If they're not ready, they're not ready. In the case of Malawach, you've got 3 other guys at his position. There is no positional need for him to be out there. You don't need to rush him along. You need to find the right spots to get him into a game. You need to get him into games where he is comfortable, when he is ready. So you get to the end of the game last night, and you see the box score, and you see those 3 guys don't play. Brea, Fleming, and Malawach. And you're like, it's supposed to be a young team. It's supposed to growing pains, player development. Them not playing in game 1, somewhat surprising. But when you debrief from the game, you take a step back a second, you realize marathon, not a sprint. You realize I'm going to be here for a couple of years. Brian Gregory and Jordan Ott, just in one game, showed us last night, they're not going to look for the quick fix like some of the other coaches who have been here recently. They are looking at this through a long-term lens. And last night, they did not feel like those 3 players gave them a good chance to win. They didn't feel like those 3 players were ready to get into the lineup, and that's okay. Doesn't mean Malawach is a bust. Doesn't mean that their first-round pick not playing in the first game of the season means they had a bad draft, means they had a bad strategy, means that what they decided to do by trading for Mark Williams and beefing up their center position was a bad strategy. Doesn't mean any of that. It just means this is an organization that has turned into a very mindful one when it comes to player development. That should be celebrated.
This is not exactly what we had thought would happen, but I think it's, when you look at it, a happy reaction to it. It is knowing that this coaching staff, this general manager, understands their players. One of the needs we had yesterday was a knowledge of the roster and a knowledge of your rotations and who's going to play. Yeah, I think you're right. I think we would have seen the young guys get into the game late had this game got out of hand. But they went to a lineup last night without Devin Booker and started to come back. So they had a knowledge of, hey, we can run this lineup out there, this rotation out there, and not play the rookies and see them and still have them grow without seeing real NBA experience and still find ways to win. That was the one big need for us yesterday when we listed our needs of Jordan Knott. Have a knowledge of the roster. I thought last night he showed very well, and it led to some of these young guys not seeing the floor, and I get that was probably a tad disappointing.
Disappointing is the right word. Not surprising. I think it is disappointing because you're excited. You're excited about what these three players can bring to the table. You're excited to see what they can offer. And again, if this is a conversation in a month's time, in 2 months' time, yeah, it goes from disappointing to surprising. It goes from disappointing to concerning that they're not able to get in there because you're worried about what it's looking like behind closed doors in these practices. But I'm not going to overreact to one game and these guys not getting in there. Would I have loved to see all of them play? Absolutely. But here's the issue, right? When you start to make the comeback, they don't play in the first half, right? They don't draw into the first half because you're trying to get, you've got a lot of new, right? Let's do this exercise real quick. Dylan Brooks, new. Nigel Hayes-Davis, new. Mark Williams, new. You got 3 new players playing key roles for your team. Devin Booker going back to being the leader of his team. Not new, but different. Ryan Dunn, Oso Ighodaro, back to being in the starting lineup. Not new, but different. You've got to gel. You need to give those guys time. Because let's face it, best case scenario, the 3 players that we're mentioning, they're not going to play a ton. They're not going to be starters. They're not going to get Colin Gillespie minutes, right? They're not going to get 20-plus minutes a night, at least not at the jump. So you need to get your starters, the main 10 or 11 guys that you're going to go to every night feeling comfortable in this new system with a new coach. And then the game in the first half, you're letting these guys try to figure it out. Then the second half starts, and you're making a comeback. Well, now I'm not going to change it. I got to ride the hot hand. I got to ride with the guys who are making this comeback. So you never really get that clean opportunity. That's why I said if the game gets out of hand there in the third quarter, these guys, I think you have these to bench and they're in there. There was never really a clean way to get them. You don't want to do it in the first half because you got so many new guys you're trying to get in there. And in the second half, you started to make the comeback, so you're going to go with the guys that have been at the center of the comeback. So, again, disappointing. You used that word. I think it's the right word. I'm disappointed that I didn't see those 3 guys in the game last night, but I'm not concerned, I'm not worried yet. Talk to me in a month. If in a month we're constantly checking the box score, we're like, man, these guys not playing, then you start to be worried that, man, they're raw. They're not ready. And you start to worry about what the future then looks like. But trust the development. Trust what Brian Gregory and Jordan Knott are trying to do from a player development perspective, because just in one night, you saw it in other areas. And you saw it. This organization, Gregory, Ott, recognized. Got to give Colin Gillespie more minutes. Got to find him a role. 22 minutes coming off the bench. Ryan Dunn needs to be a starter. Needs to play serious minutes, play 25 minutes. Had a great plan for Mark Williams last night. So they've shown the early stages of knowing what they're doing here. Trust me, I want to see these 3 players more than anybody else. You got the 10th pick back. You picked this player. I want to see what Malawatch looks like. You traded up in the first round, in the top of the second round, to get Fleming. So you thought he could be a contributor. I want to see what that looks like. The video of Brian Gregory standing on the table saying, Kobe Bray is my guy. I'm the GM. That's who you take. Yeah, I want to see that guy play. I want to see all 3 of these guys play. People who come and talk.
It's hard to get those assists out there without Jalen Green.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, that's not too hard.
Into the practice squad, just like they do the active roster. It's really all the same. You're still traveling with the team. The pay cuts a little bit less, but at the end of the day, it's still great.
Live Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and the KTUS 1060 app.
Baseball is all about stepping up to the plate when it matters most. And when you've been injured, you need a heavy hitter in your corner. At Morgan & Morgan, we don't back down. We fight to get you every dollar you deserve. No curveballs, no strikeouts, just results. That's why we've recovered over $25 billion for our clients and fight for them from offices nationwide. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, proud sponsor of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Make this Halloween electrifying by winning a brand new VW all-electric van.
The place to come when you wanna have too much fun.
Yes, we're giving away a VW electric van and a whole lot of cash Halloween. Only at Twin Arrows Navajo Casino Resort. Now that's too much fun.
Twin Arrows.
Make your first cool cruise to Twin Arrows for a spooktacular evening with psychic medium Matt Frazier. He'll calm your fears of the unknown. November 23rd. Book a room. We've got spooktacular $99 anytime rates that make it way too easy for you to stay and play.
Place to come when you wanna have too much fun.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Twin Arrows.
Connect directly, bid confidently. At Purple Wave Auction, transparency is key. With no reserves and no hidden surprises, you're connected directly to sellers so you can inspect and bid on quality equipment with confidence. Whether you're looking for ag, auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
I'm Dan Patrick.
The Jazz aren't going to dominate teams as talented as the Clippers every night. The Spurs' young core isn't suddenly the second coming. The Jazz aren't going to dominate teams as talented as the Clippers every night. The Spurs' young core isn't suddenly the second coming. The Jazz aren't going to dominate teams as talented as the Clippers.
HeartlandSteakCo.com, your one-stop shop for premium Midwest meats delivered straight to your door. Taste the Heartland difference. Visit HeartlandSteakCo.com and use code SAVE25 today.
KTUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
This is what I mean when I say that was a collapse for the agents. An all-time tank job. Not only did the Giants lead 19-0 going through touchdowns, and they lost. The Giants were 99.8% to win that game, according to ESPN. According to the Broncos, the number was actually 0.0%.
Here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KTUS AM 1060. Thanks for hanging out with us today on the show. You're hanging out with us over on the KTUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Working through some technical issues. Hopefully we get those sorted out for you. In the meantime, let's talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. and his second season as a pro. The numbers so far for Marv, 24 catches on 40 targets for 396 yards and 2 total touchdowns. Now, I decided to go ahead and do the math ahead of time, so we didn't do this on the air, really save ourselves some trouble. That would leave him on a pace in 2025 for 58 catches, and I rounded here. 58 catches, 97 targets, 962 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I think the best way to do this is to compare these numbers, his pace here at the bye week, to what he did last year. He's on pace for 58 catches in 2025. Last year, 62 of them. This year, on pace for 97 targets. Last year, 116 of them. The pace this year, 962 yards. Last year, 885. Last year, 8 touchdowns. This year's pace, 5 touchdowns. The only statistic in which Marvin Harrison Jr. is on pace to beat his numbers from his rookie campaign is in yards. 962 compared to 885 last year. Still short of being a 1,000-yard receiver. Still short of being that true number 1 wide receiver that the Arizona Cardinals thought they drafted with number 4 overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft. And this is not the jump they needed from him from year 1 to year 2. Everybody all summer long, myself included, I have to raise my hand and take blame for this as well. I get a slice of blame pie today. I thought this year was going to be different. I thought we were going to see a jump from year 1 to year 2 that firmly made Marvin Harrison Jr. a wide receiver 1. Firmly put him in the conversation as one of the best young wide receivers in the sport. Thought there was no doubt, because I was the person who came onto these airwaves and said, last year wasn't that bad. Last year wasn't great. Last year wasn't what you've come to expect from wide receiver 1s that were drafted in the first round. But it wasn't bad. He didn't bottom out. He had nearly 900 yards last season. Nearly had 10 touchdowns as a receiver. Had 116 targets, got the ball thrown his way. So with that as the base, I anticipated a jump. To right now be on pace to see all of his numbers, except his yards, fall short of last year's numbers is just unacceptable. It's unacceptable on Marv. It's unacceptable on Kyler and Jacoby Brissett in the quarterback room. It's unacceptable on the coaching staff. It is unacceptable for the number 4 overall pick, the first wide receiver taken in that draft class, to not reach his potential. And by the way, just look at the game logs for Marvin Harrison Jr. this year. Where's the game that he took over? Where's the game where he's the reason why they won? Look across football. You know when Jamar Chase takes over a game. You know when Justin Jefferson takes over a game. You know when producer Evan's new favorite receiver, Jackson Smith and Jigba, takes over a game. You know when these top-tier when Puka Nacua takes over a game in LA. You see it. You see it in the stats. You see it when you watch the game. Where's that game this year for Marv? 6 catches for 71 yards and a touchdown week 1 against New Orleans. They won by 7. Did he take over that game? Did he take over against Carolina when he had 5 catches for 27 yards? Did he take over the week after that in San Francisco? 6 catches for 44 yards. In fact, he's the reason they lost that game in some ways. Because he didn't take over the game. He missed a big throw that could have been a touchdown. How about against Seattle? The 10 catches for 66 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, he had that touchdown in the second half. We all remember what happened in the first half. Tennessee, 5 catches for 98 yards. Statistically, his best game of the season. They lost that one. Indy, 2 catches for 32 yards. He got hurt in that game. And this past Sunday against Green Bay, 6 catches for 58 yards. He's had drops this year, and he still has yet to take over a game in the way that a wide receiver one. I'm not holding him to a standard that is unfair. I'm holding him to the standard of being the first wide receiver taken in the 2024 NFL draft. I'm holding him to the standard of being many people's best overall player in that draft class. I'm holding him to the standard of what a wide receiver one should do in today's NFL with the way that the rules are. Marv isn't meeting that. Where's his Jamar Chase game? And by the way, Jamar Chase is doing it with Joe Flacco at quarterback. So it shouldn't matter who's under center. Jake Browning has been under center for Cincinnati. Jamar Chase is still putting up numbers. Where is the game that Marv takes over as the wide receiver one? We are now 24 games into Marvin Harrison Jr.'s career. Still think I'm waiting for it. Still think I'm waiting for that game. I'll look at his game logs from last year real quick to refresh my memory. But I don't think there's going to be a game on this calendar that is him taking over. It won't pull up on my tab, so I can't actually see
There
it.
is the one great is a stretch. Second half, he played against Seattle.
This year.
Yeah,
but it's marred by the first half.
I was just about to say that. He threw away the game in the first half. He is the reason for 2 interceptions thrown by Kyler Murray. And then he played his best half of football that I have seen him play. Other than that,
But that's a half. See,
I don't know a game where you could say not only was Marv taking over the game, but is there a game this year where you could be like, oh, yeah, he was the best receiver on either team?
All right, let's do that exercise.
Yeah.
Was he the best receiver on the field against Green Bay? I'd have to look at Green Bay's numbers from that game. Because in Green Bay's different. They're weird. I mean, Romeo Doubs had 6 catches for 74 yards. I mean, if we're just looking at pass catchers, Trey McBride had a better game.
Yes.
Against Indy. They have Michael Pittman Jr. They have Tyler Warren, who had a big game. Zay Jones had more receiving yards in that game.
That one's almost a little unfair because he got hurt, but yes.
Okay.
Tennessee.
All right, we'll be fair. I'll be fair. Tennessee. Do you have the Tennessee box score?
I do.
I'm staring
How
at
about
the
Calvin
Suns.
Ridley, who had 5 grabs for 131 yards?
Okay, so certainly not the best pass catcher in that game.
Let's keep going. Seahawks. Obviously, he is the big second half. He was horrible in the first half. But, by the way, JSN had 4 grabs for 79, 2 30-yard catches at the end of the game that put him in position to score twice at the end of the game.
So, no, the answer.
Trey McBride had 7 grabs for 52 yards in that game, by the way, as well. Keep going. Back to the Niners game. In the Niners game.
You don't even know is the answer.
Yeah. McBride had 5 catches for 43 yards.
Pearsall had a good game, too.
Pearsall, 8 grabs for 117. Yeah. Christian McCaffrey, also the better receiver, 10 catches for 88 yards in that one. Keep going back to Carolina. This is probably the one where maybe. But no. Teteroa McGillen, 6 grabs for 100 yards, no touchdowns. Marvin Harrison Jr., 2 catches for 27 yards. Trey McBride, 6 grabs for 78 yards. I mean, we can go. He hasn't been the best receiving option on the team this year. Here's one. 5 grabs, 71 yards against New Orleans, and a touchdown. Juwan Johnson had 8 grabs for 76 yards, no score. I'll give it to Marv. Other than that game.
Okay, which we barely gave to him over Juwan Johnson. See, Marvin Harrison Jr. should clearly be the best receiver on the field in any game that he plays in, talent-wise.
John over on the YouTube asked if he has a 100-yard receiving game. No, John, he does not.
He didn't have one last year?
Oh.
I just don't remember.
Certainly against the Rams is what I'm thinking.
We'll just pull up his game logs. I would love to do it, but my tablet is...
You've been having internet issues all day.
Well, we've got stream issues I'm trying to work out in here because all the equipment is in this room, not in your room. So I'm putting on... I have 3 hats on right now. I'm trying to be a radio host, I'm trying to be a technical guy, and I'm trying to read the comments all right. So maybe just a little help from the other side of the class. It would be nice.
Hey, versus the Rams, he had 4 grabs for 130.
At Miami, he had 6 catches for 111 yards. He has 2 career 100-yard games. He looked 24 game play with that 125. So 1 out of every 12. He has a larger exercise than we used to. Almost every game this season, game 8 except for 1, and it's close. It's not like you ran away with him. He's not the best pass catcher on the field. That's a problem for a team. I think with any divisions that was running on a number of things. That's a problem. He has to be better. When he's on base, it's not drafted in the floor. He has to be right on the 8-6, 4-5, 6, 5, on the other side.
Oklahoma City taking out everybody on their way to the championship. One of the youngest, I think the average is 26 years old.
Yeah.
As long as they have the Derek Jeter, Michael Jordan machine, or at least one person on that team, hopefully it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, they have a chance. And listen, it's human nature to be the best and think I'll be the best again. And then you fall short. I'm going to say Oklahoma City will not go back-to-back.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
We finally switched the team.
Debit or bank account required. Visit T-Mobile.com.
9 Inch Nails. Live at Desert Diamond Arena, Friday, March 6th. Get tickets now at NIN.com. 9 Inch Nails. Live in Glendale. Peel It Back Tour 2026.
Only 50% of Arizonans believe their health insurance will cover them in a major medical emergency, like a car accident or an unexpected life-changing diagnosis. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Arizona aims to change that perception. AZ Blue often takes care of more than 99% of hospital charges in major emergencies, protecting you and your family from devastating financial consequences. To learn more about how AZ Blue protects its members, head to azblue.com/true story.
The Kia Fall Sales Event is going on now at Mark Kia in Scottsdale. Right now, receive 0% APR for up to 72 months on a brand new 2025 Kia EV6. You heard right, 0%.
And if you're thinking about selling or trading your current vehicle, please give us a call. Our data shows that 9 out of 10 times we offer more. Don't cost yourself $1,000 or more by not making that simple phone call.
Time for the pro to get everything for the entire job, all from one partner. To get out you won't find in our stores. It's time to get delivery on your schedule or next day on over 50,000 products. And time to get dedicated support on the job site or in our stores. From ordering, to planning, we've got you. Any child has to know we can count.
The year-end sales event is going on now at Scottsdale Mitsubishi. Right now, you can receive 0% APR for 61 months on all new 2025 Mitsubishi models. You heard that right. 0% APR on all 2025 Mitsubishi.
And if you're thinking about selling or trading your current vehicle, please give us a call. Our data shows that 9 out of 10 times we offer more. Don't cost yourself $1,000 or more by not making that simple phone call.
The name to remember, Scottsdale Mitsubishi, Scottsdale Mitsubishi. Another Mark Auto Group dealership.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KTUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us. As we enter another week in the NFL, it is our job to power rank all of the teams. We call it the Schubert scale. Evan calls it Evan's risers on his list. We go through the top teams in the NFL. Want my HMs first today?
Yeah, hit me with your HMs.
I got 3 of them, as always. HM number 1. The team went overseas. Just took it to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just reminded everybody of who they are. Reminded everybody of who Matthew Stafford is as a quarterback. Reminding everybody Devontae Adams still has something left in the tank. I've got the Los Angeles Rams as one of my HMs. HM number 2. Remember, none of these are in any particular order when it comes to the HMs. Seattle Seahawks next up for me. I'm impressed. They have won me over. I thought this was going to be the worst team in the division, mainly because I was not sold on the quarterback. Boy, was I wrong. Sam Darnold is now just a good quarterback. Doesn't matter where he plays. Doesn't matter what system he's in. He is reaching his potential. He's reaching the potential of a guy who was drafted in the first round. And he's a main reason why they're 5-2, why they're in the mix to win this division, why they are one of the top teams in football. They're an HM for me. They're not a lot of other great teams in the NFC. They're just a little behind some of them. And my last HM, this may surprise some people. Got the Buffalo Bills as an HM this week. Not in the top 5. How about this? You ready for this, ladies and gentlemen? Not the best team in their division right now.
How about this? I don't even have him as an HM.
Fair. Totally reasonable. You could have put San Francisco in here with the way that they've played. You could have made a case for Pittsburgh potentially being in there. Lots of teams you could have had as an HM in their spot. The Bills as an HM. I think they'll be back in.
They will. They will.
But for the moment, this is a week-to-week thing that we do here. They're out. Number 5 for me this week. How about we go to the best team in the AFC East right now? I have the New England Patriots debuting in the Schubert scale, so round of applause to the New England Patriots for being in there. Number 5. Drake May's the truth, man. Drake May's a really good quarterback. He has all of the skills and traits that you need to win right now. He can escape the pocket. He can throw on the move. He can extend plays with his feet. His running ability is a huge factor. They have a great coach in Mike Vrabel, who's clearly got everything screwed on correctly there, just completely fixing all of the issues from the Gerard Mayo tenure. And I don't think they're like an overly talented team. They still have holes all over the place. But when you get good quarterback play and you're well coached, you're going to be able to win a lot of football games. And they do those two things really well. And so they can step on the field with anybody and compete. And I think Drake May is better this year than I thought he was going to be. I mean, he was my QB1 coming out of that class, so I love Drake May. He's just finding himself quicker than I thought, and that's scary for the rest of the AFC. Number 5, the New England Patriots. Number 4 for me. Picked up a nice come-from-behind victory on Sunday here in the great state of Arizona. I've got the Green Bay Packers at number 4. They get stuck on the tarmac for 5 hours in their travels. Doesn't matter. Play a football game. Come out on the other side. They win. Jordan Love's playing really well. And they just have, we talked about this in the last segment with Marv. Green Bay doesn't really have a wide receiver one, but they just have a bunch of guys who can contribute.
They have weapons all over the field.
Tucker Kraft, Matthew Golden, Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs. We're just naming the guys that they have in their rooms to go along with Josh Jacobs in the backfield, with the ability of Jordan Love to throw it all over the place. Just a really good football team. Number 4 for me, the Green Bay Packers. Number 3, they dominated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football. I think they are the second best team in the NFC because of it. The Detroit Lions, for me, number 3. Jahmyr Gibbs is the best running back in football.
Yeah.
The best running back in football is Jahmyr Gibbs. Right now, Jahmyr Gibbs is the best running back.
Flip a coin.
Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the only argument. I think if you were drafting them, maybe it's a tad different conversation. Given this season, I mean, it's Jahmyr Gibbs, it's Jonathan Taylor. Those are the best two guys in sport.
Defensively, they caused fits for Baker on Monday night. Fits. Made it difficult. And their offense isn't missing a beat. I think Gibbs is taking on more of a role this year as the real true number 1, and he's thriving in it. They have St. Brown. They have Williams. They have Sam Laporta. Just weapons galore. And they just, doesn't matter who you put in front of them. Good team in Tampa, no problem. We'll blow them out 24-9. Number 2, the best team in the NFC, Philadelphia Eagles. A little bit of a bump in the road there. Offensive woes seem to have solved those problems. They're the defending NFC and Super Bowl champions. They take their rightful spot as the number 2 team in the Schubert scale. Number 1, they're the best team in football. They're the best team in the AFC. The number 1 team entering week 8 of the NFL season. Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones, the Temple of Doom, and the Indianapolis Colts. And it's not just because of their record, and they have the best record in football, but we talked about this on Monday when we did the rewind. Offensively, they do whatever they want against whoever they're playing.
I mean, you give them an inch, they take a mile.
We mentioned it when talking about Jahmyr Gibbs. If not Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor is one of the best running backs in all of football. Daniel Jones is playing like an MVP candidate. Tyler Warren looks like a seasoned veteran at the tight end position.
Another team that I don't know if they have a number 1. They have weapons. Alec Pierce can play.
Michael Pittman Jr. can play. Josh Downs can play.
Josh Downs can play.
You know who can't
Tyler
play?
Warren.
Adonai Mitchell can't play. We're out on Mitchell.
Don't get me.
I just had to. Had to get you fired up about that. Again.
This team should be undefeated.
Should be undefeated.
This team should be undefeated.
Should be 7-0.
They had an Amari DiMercato situation, and then he held on the other side of the field on a 70-yard Jonathan Taylor run. Can't play.
The only thing that is stopping the Indianapolis Colts from being 7-0 is a self-inflicted wound. No one else has been able to really beat them.
No. There's not a team in the league, and everybody loves the Rams and what they got going on.
Colts beat them?
Well, they should have.
They should have beat them.
A.D. Mitchell. My honorable mentions this week, a little different for us on the bottom 2. Same top 3, by the way. Packers, honorable mention for me.
Packers is that tie really bothering you, huh?
The 4-1-1 is an interesting one because, gosh, what do they do better than some of the other teams?
What do they? It's a really good question.
I think their defense leaves enough to be desired.
Well, they have Micah Parsons. They do that better than
okay.
Than
yeah, but
else.
like in all honesty, the other pass rushers haven't been great, and the defense just, to me, leaves a little bit to be desired.
Fair.
You lost to the Browns. You tied the Cowboys, giving up 40-plus points. There's a little bit to be desired with the Packers. I think they came out and punched everybody in the face as the best team in football, and they beat a very good Lions team. The Lions have turned that ship around. Feels like the Packers, while playing good football, not in the top 5 for me.
It's funny because in hearing you explain yourself, I would agree with you that there's not one thing they do better than everybody else, but they're just like average or slightly above average in everything.
Yeah, that's exactly how I would describe it.
Like they just have a higher floor than most teams in the NFL on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, certainly.
Except that game against Cleveland. That was just a disaster.
My other honorable mention, after getting blown out on Monday night, dealing with some injuries, Still giving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They were out completely for me because of the underperformances and the injuries now stacking up.
The injuries certainly starting to stack up. My fear that Mike Evans may be done. His career may be over.
Division wide open for your Carolina Panthers now.
Yes,
in
it's
the
true.
NFC South.
And that's why I have them as no. I'm just kidding. My last HM is the Patriots for all the reasons you said. I used to be a Drake maybe. I'm now a Drake definitely. Guy can play. They lead the division. And do I think they have some holes? Do I think they lack weapons? Certainly. Do I think they'll end up winning that division? Probably not. But currently, they sit atop it.
You just feel comfortable with them in a 4-minute drill trying to nurse a close lead.
Yeah, you do.
You just
and
trust,
it's because of the coach.
It's because of the coach. It's because of the quarterback. They have a decent running back room that can help them in that regard. You just trust them to get those things right.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Not to say that that doesn't apply to other teams on the list, but I think the reason why we're talking about the Patriots the way that we are this week is just because they're doing that so well. They're finishing games correctly.
My number 5 team, you had them as an HM, Seattle Seahawks.
They're good, man.
They're good. And they continue to win. They got a quarterback playing some really good football. The defense is really, really been better than advertised. And for me, this is a team that it's a tough place to go and play. And they've given some people fits. Do I think they had some problems against the Texans? Certainly. Is the Texans defense great? Certainly as well. It's the only thing they can do, actually. Number 4 for me. They went and played the Jags at the Jags' only true home game of the year. The Los Angeles Rams, they went out there and blew them out. Talk about what the Rams do. We said the Packers do a lot of things extremely well. That's what the Rams do. The Rams have guys that can beat you through the air in Puka Nacua. They can beat you on the ground with Kyron Williams. They have an aging but awesome quarterback and a pass rush that can get after it.
Who I owe an apology to, because remember I said week to week we were going to do this back thing. We just don't talk
Apparently
about it.
That's not true.
We just don't talk about it.
And by the way, we are not the only people that said that. Like everybody was wrong on that.
He's just fine.
Yeah, he's fine. They went out and added Devontae Adams, a team really well-rounded. They are certainly a team to be scared of in the NFC. My number 3 team, also in the National Football Conference. Give me the Detroit Lions. To me, you said it best. Every time Gibbs touches the ball, you go, oh, he could go. Every time. Every time he touches the ball. And the offense continually is clicking without Ben Johnson there, though it does look like it's going well for the Bears, and we'll talk about that. But
outside of Indy, is Detroit the best offense in football?
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. My number 2 team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Well-rounded.
You know what that means?
And my number 1 team.
Yes!
The Indianapolis Colts.
Unbelievable that we are doing a power rankings on October 23rd, and the Indianapolis Colts for both of us is the best team in football.
Peyton Manning hung him up. Andrew Luck hung him up. The Colts still at 1 in the power rankings. Also, we have to talk about Jim Irsay's daughter. She's got a play sheet and the headset on, but don't leave. Do not leave the sideline. It's working for you.
Talk about somebody who is embracing, in the wake of a tragedy, embracing a new role that she's got a lot to learn.
Certainly.
And she is embracing everything about being the owner. And you can tell it's not fake. It's not forced.
No, she loves it.
You can see the way, it's not in the way she reacts. It's in the way the players react to her presence. Because any other team, the owner being on the sideline in that way probably rubs the players the wrong way. You can tell the bond that has been formed between new owner and these players, and you just love to see it. And they're just one of the best stories in football. A lot of fun. So Evans Risers, the Schubert scale for week 8 in the NFL. When we come back, one more before we are out of here, hand things off to Jim Rome at the top of the hour. All the stories we didn't get to, and there's a big one that we have not discussed at all here today on the show. I am certain it has made it into the leftovers. We'll get to it next. It's the lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
James out west. Mike Trout became the 59th player to hit his 400th home run. The home run record holder for the Angels. I was going to quiz you. Who do you think the number 2 is on the list for all-time home runs for the Anaheim Angels?
I would assume it's Shohei Ohtani.
Nope, Tim Salmon.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
$299 for Tim Salmon. Mike Trout got 101 more than the next
about
guy.
Naming a random MLB player that had a really good career.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
wild.
I loved watching Tim Salmon, bro. I'm about to cut together some Tim Salmon highlights.
Every other Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KTUS AM 1060.
At Winco, we're working to save you money. Every aisle, every department, every day.
9 stores in the Phoenix area, including the new Santan Valley location.
Fridays at 5, I'm out exploring. From hiking up Camelback to skiing at Snowbowl, the adventures never stop with AAA. It's membership that travels with me, whether behind the wheel or a passenger, in my ride, my buddies, or a rental. AAA's got 24/7 expert help with tows, battery help, and more. Plus branch services like free passport photos and trip planning. Membership gives you all this and more for less than $6 a month, and I can add loved ones for half off. Call or visit your local branch today. AAA, your membership to go.
Jaw-dropping stunts, high-flying tricks, heart-pounding excitement. Nitro Circus is back. The all-new off-the-rails tour. Gravity-defying thrill seekers and world-class daredevils at the top of their game. FMX, BMX, skate, scooter, and everything in between. Experience all new competitions that pit the best against the best in never-been-done showdowns. Nitro Circus. Friday, December 5th. Desert Diamond Arena. Join the action at Ticketmaster.com.
Global Credit Union, how can I help you?
It's one of those voice prompts.
Representative! Good morning. How can I help?
Wait, is this a real person?
It's 2 a.m.
We're here to help members 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Impossible.
At Global, possible. Learn more at globalcu.org. Global Credit Union, your world of financial possibilities.
Right now at Scottsdale Mitsubishi, you can receive 0% APR for 60 full months on all new 2025 Mitsubishi models. You heard right. 0% APR for 60 months.
Think how much you'll save when you pay no interest.
The name, remember? Scottsdale Mitsubishi. Scottsdale Mitsubishi.
On your ride home from work, join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Beerstein.
If we owned our own football team called the Angry Roosters and we kept signing people to contracts and they weren't honoring their contracts and kept demanding raises, at what point do we throw our hands up and just say no to everybody? We signed you to a contract, play out your contract, and that's it. You earn a better contract on your next one, we'll pay you for that.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Wrapping up today's edition of the show. Jim Rome's coming up at the top of the hour. Thanks for hanging out with us today here on the lunch break. Before we get out of here, though, all of the stories we didn't get to over the last 2 hours, we try to get to them now. We're kind of pressed for time. We'll see how many of them we can get to. Producer Evan has them for us. Hopefully you lead with the biggest story in the world of sports this morning. Take it away, my friend.
I imagine this is the only thing we're going to get to.
Probably. It's a big story.
But the biggest story in sports this morning, Portland Trail Blazers coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier have been arrested as a part of gambling investigations backed by the mafia.
There were 34 people arrested. Chauncey Billups, as you mentioned, Terry Rozier, former NBA player Damon Jones was also a part of it, arrested as part of what is being reported as a years-long investigation spanning nearly a dozen states and involving tens of millions of dollars. Now, Rozier, we know, has been involved and being investigated for his role in a sports betting operation. Billups isn't a part of that part of this.
His is poker, correct?
This is a illegal underground poker game that was apparently headed up by the mafia. And then Damon Jones was arrested because of charges that he disclosed privileged injury information about a prominent basketball player to facilitate illegal sports betting. That player, the prominent player whose information he was sharing, LeBron James. Now, I'm not saying this to link LeBron James to it. I'm just saying that's the notable player whose information was being passed around to these members of this illegal sports betting operation that was taken down this morning. Lots of different tentacles to this. It was a sports betting and rigged poker games that were backed by the mafia. As I mentioned, 34 people arrested, tens of millions of dollars. It involves 4 mafia families and the organized crime networks. And this feels like just the surface, right?
It really does.
Feels like there's going to be more to this.
I mean, the fact that it's a year-long investigation,
Years
too.
long. It was plural.
I mean,
Years with an S.
This feels like we may have just gotten the first release on who's involved.
This is from the ESPN story. Quote, as part of the scheme, gamblers used non-public information to bet on at least 7 NBA games between March 2023 and March 2024 involving the Hornets, Magic, Trailblazers, Lakers, and Raptors. In 3 of those 7 games, players intentionally removed themselves from contests to benefit the gamblers' bets, according to the indictment. The defendants, quote, had access to private information known by NBA players or NBA coaches, end quote, that would likely affect the outcome of games or players' performances, and provided that information to other co-conspirators in exchange for either a flat fee or a share of the betting profits.
Yeah, I mean, that's rigging the sport, right? That is in wholeheartedly, that is rigging of the NBA.
Billups was arrested in a separate indictment, wide-ranging scheme to rig underground poker games that were backed by the mafia families. They used technology to steal millions of victims in the New York area. And then, quote, also, though Billups was not named in the sports betting indictment, the description of a co-conspirator who allegedly told a bettor that a number of Trailblazers players would miss a March 2023 game had a playing and coaching career that matches Billups. So even though he's not listed in there, there are some potential similarities, and he could be a part of both. Again, this feels like just the beginning.
This is one of the craziest stories in sports. I mean, I don't know about you. I woke up to this story.
Yeah, and
it is crazy.
And this is the fear that everybody in sports had when you opened the floodgates to legal sports betting.
Can I ask a question, though?
Sure.
This is all illegal sports betting.
Well, do we know if they were doing these on non-public sports betting sites?
I guess we don't. We don't know.
I mean, and the only reason why I bring that up is because it wasn't the investigation and Terry Rozier in the first place because one of these books flagged the info and gave it to Adam Silver and said, hey, this feels weird to us. You wouldn't have that information being sent to the NBA if it was from an offshore or from your local bookie that was doing this.
Yeah.
Like, that would only happen.
Yeah, it would happen from a big corporation.
So we'll have to see exactly what and I haven't read the full indictment. They probably went into how the scheme was done, but they had illegal information. They had insider information. Just like you can't trade stocks on insider information.
It's insider trade.
You can't do this. This is fraudulent. This is illegal activity. And it is certainly illegal to be in the sport and doing it, as alleged with Terry Rozier. But Chauncey Billups, again, different thing, different gambling incident altogether, but wrapped up today in 2 sports gambling investigations that were announced by the government today.
This story is going to hang over the NBA for quite a long time.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Blazers had to announce an interim head coach while Chauncey Billups is away. Thiago Splitter is going to be the acting interim coach for them while all this gets sorted.
You were a
out.
fan of his.
I thought he would be a good candidate for the Suns gig, yes. That's going to do it for us. Everybody have a great rest of your Thursday. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Jim Rome is next. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow. See ya.